Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the H Cup presented by BTS. We're going to be taking a look at the lower bracket today. IG facing off against CDEC.Y, and I am completely, totally, utterly, and excited for this game. Lyrical Dota joined today by Danelie Cass. Danny, we saw IG get ran through by vg.r previously, but I think that they might stand a little bit better of a chance this time. What did you feel like were their strong suits in the last couple of games that we saw of them?
There wasn't really that much to see, except if you look at the first game, I think that's when IG really shone as a team. And we saw that they were able to really play well on capitalizing on openings. If you give them a head start, they know how to maintain their head start. But they were up against such a strong opponent that was able to make the most of small mistakes, which is where I felt where IG lost it. But they're up against CDEC.Y, which is probably in a similar position to IG as to the reason why they're both down here. And so hopefully IG can catch a break. Maybe they will be able to win a game at least after losing 4 consecutive games in a row to vg.r. The state of CDEC, they actually have a lot of potential. And I honestly feel like CDEC.Y may have maybe a step above Invictus Gaming, from what we've seen anyway.
You know, I would kind of agree with you. I will say that I feel like there's been times where Invictus Gaming's drafts have put them at a deficit, and they've been sort of playing from behind the whole time. So if they're able to put together a strong draft, then I think that they're going to be maybe in a position where they can deal with it, but it's a little bit tough, and we haven't seen it come out from them yet. I will start talking about this draft, though. Kind of interesting right off the bat. They choose to ban out the Nature's Prophet and the Bounty Hunter and then lead off with a Beastmaster pick. This kind of denies the Sven out of the pool a little bit for CDEC.Y. It's not great to have to go up against the Beastmaster as a Sven, considering you're always going to want to pick up that BKB and the BKB Piercing Ultimate. But then CDEC.Y go right back at him by taking the Lone Druid and also one of the really good counters to the Lone Druid in that Witch Doctor. So there's CDEC who I think are going to be able to get away with this Lone Druid pick in this draft. And I think that, you know, if you have this hero that's able to get a lot of farm very quickly, it's one of the fastest farming heroes in the game if left alone.
Absolutely. I actually wanted to point out something from Invictus Gaming. They've picked up the Invoker for Ferrari, and I think it's been quite a while since I've actually seen Ferrari on the Invoker. This is one of his best heroes. I don't want to say it is his best, but it is one of his best performing heroes. And now that they've given Ferrari a tempo-controlling mid, you can say Lena would have served a similar purpose to the Invoker, but I've seen Ferrari make amazing plays with an Invoker. So maybe this is the sort of break that IG were looking for, to grab a strong hero such as Invoker for Ferrari, because I know the history of IG is that the team is heavily driven by how Ferrari is treated in the lane. If he gets the lane that he wants, he's able to make space for his team. He can make the plays happen because of the extra levels as well as farm. If he goes off to a bad start, there's no one really on IG that's able to put the game onto their back like Ferrari does. Like, no, I kind of feel like XS, he's a great offlaner and all, but I don't think he's in a similar boat to Ferrari in terms of what he can provide to the team. Like, he's given a Beastmaster, and to make a Beastmaster work, you can get solo kills, but half the time you do need support. Whereas for the Invoker, he can grab solo kills if you give him the opportunity to. So this Invoker pick, if I was CDEC.Y, I would actually decide to pressure this Invoker because it can dictate the flow of IG's game, and a Batrider is probably one of the best offlaners to deal with the Invoker. Completely isolate him from his team and blow him up before the team fight even happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that also you look at the way that they're trying to start off this draft here for CDEC.Y. You've got Juggernaut, who's great at being able to, you know, have that untargetability and ability to sustain within a lane. You're going to be able to push really effectively, and we saw in the previous game vg.r, even though they did end up being able to win, they were kind of lacking the Batrider-esque type of hero, being able to pull somebody out and breaking high ground. That's something that a Batrider can't allow you to do. I'm curious right now if that's what part of the reason why CDEC.Y wanted to take this. They've got a nice amount of, you know, instant disable, and actually IG are going to go for the Phoenix and Gyrocopter. I feel like it's always so dangerous picking a Gyrocopter into a Juggernaut. This hero just counters it out so effectively if you're not careful with your positioning and making sure there's a couple of other heroes around you to tank that Omni Slash, just because of how quickly you can get bursted down. I'm concerned about this Gyrocopter. He needs to get a lot done in the early game to be able to snowball, I feel like.
It's not that he also needs to get a lot done. He also needs to
Invictus
either
Gaming's
stay
turn
on
to
the same
battle.
level in terms of the farm with Jug and Lone Druid, because we've seen in other games in the exact same tournament, teams they run the gyrocopter, they get that level 6, they try and go for that really early TP rotation to make the most of that level 6
Ten
cooldown,
seconds remaining.
which it's great and all, but if the gyrocopter ganks start to
Five
backfire, then
seconds
all of a
remaining.
sudden gyrocopter is going to be behind the opposing team's carries because he didn't dedicate that time to actually farm up his next set of items.
Radiant team
Like, this is
victory.
probably the biggest thing with gyrocopter. If you stop farming with the gyro and your strategy with running this aggressive gyro starts to backfire, it's very difficult for Gyro to come back in terms of gold. Just because like he can't farm as quickly as a Juggernaut and a Lone Druid can. Like, these two heroes on CDEC Youth, if you give them 5 minutes, they all make the most of that 5 minutes. Whereas for a Gyrocopter, he's probably going to only get maybe half of the farm that
Ten
Jug and Lone Druid
seconds
would have
remaining.
gotten, maybe even a little bit more, I suppose. But
Five
yeah, I'm
seconds
hoping
remaining.
IG can really make the most of this gyro really early and at least assume dominance
Reserve time.
pre 20 minutes so that they can control the game and make CDEC sort of play defensively on their side of the map.
The plus side that you could end up saying with this is that if Gyrocopter does go for somewhat more of a farming type of build in this, like he picks up a Helm of the Dominator, you can start stacking up those Ancients, and there aren't great heroes to take that for CDEC Youth right now. So that's one way that you could end up catching back up, and also the Invoker throwing the Alacrity on him, it's a nice way to buff him up, but I would agree, it's one of those things where if left to our own devices, the side of
Invictus
CDEC Youth here are just going to be able
Gaming's
to
turn
get
to
off to
pick.
such a tremendous start. And interestingly enough, we see Alina taken as the last pick, and then last but not least, the Winter Wyvern for IG. So feeling like they might need to be careful about the push potential that is available. They're going to pick up that hero again, and it didn't end up working out for them too effectively in the last series of games that we saw, but maybe they've been able to learn from their mistakes and are going to be able to build themselves into at least being able to sustain against what I'm assuming it's going to be some amount of push. Like, Lone Druid is going to be able to pick up the Hand of Midas and the Radiance fairly effectively. They need to be careful about the Phoenix Ray coming in and being able to burst him down as well. But I think that at this stage in the game, the sort of dynamic that we're going to be seeing in the mid game is CDEC Youth pushing with IG trying to keep them back as much as possible. And in that regard, Gyrocopter is good for that, for being able to defend the high ground.
Okay, so I think I may have to reconnect because I cannot have access to my map at all.
Uh-oh.
Thank you very much, Dota 2. I actually wanted to ask your opinion. CDEC Youth is going to put Inflame on the Batrider, which means it's going to be a Invoker versus Batrider matchup in the mid lane. What are your thoughts on that potential matchup?
Well, I think that in this type of matchup, it really comes down to positioning for the Invoker, and as it always does with the Batrider types of lineups. Ame down here in the bottom lane is squaring off with XXS and should be fine. But yeah, back to your question, I think that really for me the biggest thing about that is just making sure that your positioning is fine. If he ends up being able to have the cold snap, I don't think Inflame should be able to get on top of him. That being said, I also don't think that, like, Inflame is probably going to want to stack up these camps to the side here and build into his Blink Dagger eventually. If he's able to get a decently timed Blink Dagger, or if there's a rotation that comes in towards the mid lane from one of the other supports like the Witch Doctor or something, then you get into a situation where maybe you're going to be able to find a kill just by getting all those stacks up, and of course then it would be a quick kill on Ferrari. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that they're going to very heavily prioritize getting him off to a good start, and they've already taken out one of these wards here. Ferrari 430 doing it right off the bat.
And also, let's talk a little bit about the IG supports. They're running Fire and Ice. They're essentially running Jakiri if they were two different entities. Phoenix and Winter Wyvern. What can IG really achieve with these two heroes before they both hit level 6? They're actually very weak in the laning phase if you think about it. Like, Wyvern at least provides a reasonable slow with the Arctic Burn, but Phoenix doesn't really provide anything to his team up until he gets at least 2 points into the Sun Ray. But what is IG supposed to do with these sort of supports? Are they going to roam with the Wyvern and then just farm up the Phoenix? Or what do you think IG's thinking?
Well, I think that one of the things they got to figure out is how do you deal with the Lone Druid in the laning stage. And One of the problems that you run into is this type of thing happens where Spirit Bear pulls over a creep wave. You end up being able to get it into the position that you want. And actually, Bobica is going to take a couple of shots here. He needs to be careful. I think that probably the biggest thing that they're going to be able to do is pull and get a good amount of levels. I don't know if Spirit Bear is really going to be able to find a kill on any of them because of that Cold Embrace that's going to be available. And the Winter Wyvern is nice for being able to get the slow and the DOT that's percentage-based damage. Because, you know, Spirit Bear starts out with a lot more HP than any other heroes would, so this is going to be really effective harassment for the bear. The issue is actually killing it off and finding that, and maybe because of the extra damage you get from the Rocket Barrage and Gyrocopter, it's going to be able to work, but it's going to need to be by the virtuous of misplays, and Inflame is super freaking far forward here. I don't think that Ferrari can actually stop this, though. He's taking a lot of damage and is going to have to commit the Ghost Walk and walk away from there. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a little bit of Kali. I might need to reconnect.
That's fine. Inflame dropping to about a quarter of his HP, but it seems that the really early Ghost Walk from Ferrari's going to keep himself alive at least. So no First Blood as of yet, but we are going to be sensing some First Blood very soon, I believe, as we do have what seems to be a Winter Wyvern rotation into the mid lane. So it does look like they're going to try and kill off Inflame if possible, with the help of Ferrari. Unfortunately, it's not an Exalt Invoker, so you can't really fall back to Sunstrikes, but if you can manage to land an EMP or at least maybe a mini Tornado, that could be enough to catch out Inflame. He's going to slowly start to bottle up. He's got one more charge to go, but he's still below half HP in terms of threshold, and I think the Wyvern's going to try and cut the Courier off. It's too far away. No Courier kill.
I'm loading back into it right now. I've got a Storm Spirit loading screen, so that's lovely. Dead hero, but good loading screen. Anyways, as far as the CS goes, you can see the Gyrocopter a little bit ahead of the Juggernaut, but not significantly so. And they're going to jump onto Inflame. Actually, he might end up going down here. This rotation with the Arctic Burn might be able to be enough to find the kill, but he is going to be able to survive it. That was really close, though.
That was very, very close, and that was off the back of both Invoker and Winter Wyvern having crappy base physical damage. Like, Wyvern in general just doesn't hit naturally hard, and because Ferrari's gone for the Quas Wex, he's only hitting for 59 damage, and that's not including armor. So for Inflame, he's going to be very happy that he didn't drop there, and he may decide to turn it on to Ferrari, as Ferrari's looking pretty low in terms of mana himself.
Yeah, and he just tossed out a Tornado, actually. He does have Cold Snap available, so need to be a little bit careful. Does look like they're going to, again, just zone out this Beastmaster. Stuck at level 2. Compare this to the offlaner of XE here, and he's been able to get level 3 on his bear. It's just so hard to be able to zone out this bear at all. And the thing is you're able to bring him down somewhat low with the Winter Wyvern in terms of the damage you deal, but killing it off is a real problem because the damage is based upon the percentage of HP left in your pool, not the max HP. So it's still good, but it's not like completely and totally tremendous. They're going to need to wait until they get a couple of levels on this Phoenix Sunray before they can find a kill.
Wrong's actually holding on to one skill point, so he's sort of waiting to figure out if he wants to put some points into Fire Spirits or not. And looks like they grab First Blood onto the Beastmaster. I didn't get to catch that either. Don't worry, we're both in the same boat. First Blood going in the way of CDEC.Y. And for Beastmaster, XXS has had a pretty bad time in the bottom lane. I think at this point you may want to consider moving into the jungle because, yeah, he's getting a few levels, but the idea behind off lanes is first I'll take a look at the lone druid who's going to run away. Seems like no one can really catch him out, but the way the off lane's typically played is you can die a few times if you're getting levels, but if you are getting hardly anything in lane and you keep dying, that's definitely not a position that you want to be in. So if he's not getting enough in lane, then we'll have to expect XXS to leave, unless he possibly dies again.
There's the Blade Freight forward, Maledict and everything.
Bully died of it though.
I think that he's okay.
Barely. He pops a salve too. So he's going to make sure he's going to come out safely. Arme's nowhere near death, but XXS though, almost dying there, having to TP in Ferrari of all heroes.
Yeah. No, that hurts, definitely. He is going to be bringing out something on the Courier right now. It's just going to be the Clarity, it looks like, to try and get his mana up a little bit more. It's going to show, and like as soon as you end up leaving the lane on the Batrider to go and try and farm up a little bit more, Demons comes in and is going to be able to soak up some of this experience. So he's level 4. You've got Inflame, who's already level 7, hasn't actually committed any points yet past the 2 in Napalm and 1 in Firefly in there. Thinking about jumping now onto Bobica. He's going to be able to catch him. There's going to be the committal of the ultimate, and this should be a quick and easy kill as the Light Strike Array is going to fall through, and Lina ends up actually being able to pick it up. Tornado EMP combo going through. His Invoker's going to have to run away. Rather, Ferrari's gonna have to, Inflame is gonna have to run away. Sunstrike is not available because it's Quas Wex, but they are gonna be able to find that kill. Nicely played.
Ooh, that was also a level 1 Phoenix dive, so that was essentially 40 damage worth onto that Batrider. That was super, super close. If the Phoenix didn't dive, I don't think he would have died. He would have died there.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it was just so freaking close, and doing it right off the bat. Worth noting the 2 points now in the Maledict. This is something that we've been seeing over and over again from the Witch Doctors, and I feel like it's really cool. Like, more often than not, we've been seeing this Witch Doctor used for his heals, but he's really high damage dealing hero as well. And you sort of pair this together with something like Alina at level 6, you're going to be able to, like, Maledict up, and then she follows up with a Laguna Blade. Whoever they hit is just going to die. Like, it's a really cool combo.
It is. It's similar to the Shadow Demon Lina combo, which we used to see back in the days, where they would use the damage amplification from the Shadow Demon to really make the Lina hit hard home. But with this one, it's damage over time. So if there's no TP on that hero, if they do survive the initial burst, then they will definitely drop. Because if you take a look at what Maledict provides at level 2, it's 24% of the lost HP burst damage, and then you get the extra 10 damage on top of that too.
Yeah.
So, like, this early on, that is quite a bit when you're losing more than 2/3 of your HP pool.
Absolutely. Well, XS up here in the top lane did end up going back for that Iron Talon, so has been jungling away for the moment and has gotten up to level 4. It's going to pull the creep wave past with those axes, which are going to continue to spin around in the air for a second, head back. But the Blade Fury cut down, Ame is going to be here to try and make sure that they take this tower. He's got the healing ward down, and there's going to be the cooldown committed. Hasn't been able to hit onto anybody, though, and it looks like Jug is just going to be able to walk away for the moment. TP's away. Is he going to end up going down? Just barely going to be able to get out of there. My goodness, that was close.
That was so close, but that's rather unfortunate. If XS had the Primal Roar there, if he had level 6, that would have been a guaranteed kill. But because he has done so poorly in lane, not to say it's his fault, it has been a lot of pressure from the Juggernaut and Witch Doctor, then I don't think that the Beastmaster would be doing so badly. So he's going to stay in lane for now. He wants to grab that level 6 as soon as possible. And once you see that level 6, expect XS to make a rotation to use that the ultimate. Unless Inflame just comes in with a haste and just lassos him and pulls him back, and, you know, handy dandy, it's fine. The XS is dead. There's nothing he can do.
Actually, don't even have to use the ulti. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But they are going to rotate in 3 heroes now, and Bobica as well as QD and Ferrari, they're all going to be in the area. They are going to be able to snipe off this courier. They're thinking about it at least. It looks like they're going to wait until they end up coming back and then take it on the return path. So courier's going to go down. They get the counter initiation now. Inflame and Demons need to run away. The Blink Dagger was revealed, and it does look like they're going to catch onto Demons. He drops, but wasn't even able to get anything in return.
Inflame could go for a pullback. The Juggernaut is here for an Omni Slash, but it looks like everyone was too far for the Batrider to even attempt to pull. So they're going to let them go, but when all that's said and done, though, it is a 1-to-1 trade Batrider for Alina, although the courier can be involved in that too. But still, IG, they're going to do something about XS. He is not even level 6 yet. We're closing in towards the 10-minute mark, and he's the offlane Beastmaster. Hopefully he moves into the jungle. He really should not be sitting in this lane. Like, we've seen multiple times now that he's died up top. The Inflame has tried to go in for a bit of a jump. He's already used the lasso, and he's got nothing left in the tank. He's going to go down, and Rong's actually sitting in the Firefly. Rong, get out of there. Getting out of 7 HP. They get the bear as well as the bat, though, so a big win in the top lane for IG.
And it's so much damage coming out from that Sunray. Like, it's incredibly impressive how much you're able to do. What was it that actually ended up going down? It only ends up being 340, but that's still pretty crazy from, you know, the Phoenix support here throughout the course of this game, just doing a great job of it. And Lina ends up being able to get a kill on the Winter Wyvern. No Laguna Blade necessary, although she is going to be able to get her level 6 here fairly shortly. And I don't know, you take a look at the difference in terms of team net worth. CDEC.Y building themselves a little bit of lead. I'm curious how IG are going to try and come back into this one, because all of these gank rotations just haven't ended up working out for them really effectively outside of the one kill, but they only got the Lena in that last one.
Their draft is very early game oriented now. Ferrari, who opted for the Quas Wex build during the laning phase, means that his damage is not going to scale as well as it would have if he did go for the Exort build instead. So this actually puts more pressure onto IG to perform during the early portions of the game, moving into the mid portion, just to shut down as many of the CDEC heroes as possible. XS finally has his level 6, but he doesn't have the mana to cast Primal Roar, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to provide much in this upcoming engagement. But there's no one down here for CDEC.Y. It's just the Beastmaster. CDEC are they sort of figured out what's happened now. They don't see any IG heroes, and instead they're just going to sort of go for their own smoke rotation and hope that someone in the mid lane appears for Inflame to go for a lasso. And I think Bobica might be going mid. I don't think it's a good idea. Instead, just a warding mission. He's fine.
I think that, you know, they both sides realize what's going on. They're checking just to make sure that nobody's farming in the jungle. And as long as they're trading the towers 1 for 1 and there isn't anybody farming in the jungle, CDEC.Y feel fine with this trade, I believe. And they're going to be able to take out the enemy jungle. Meanwhile, you also see that IG are going to try and do the same type of thing. One thing that I would say is that if they end up rotating in towards the mid lane, I kind of favor CDEC.Y's initiation angle. Unless Ame gets caught out here, he needs to be super careful. He's going to get jumped on in just a second. They do have Roar available, and looks like he is going to back out, realizing the danger.
He's got phase boots and drums. He's actually very, very quick. And unfortunately for IG, their chase is not impressive in the least. But it looks like they want to try and assume some map control in the mid lane. Taking down the T1 will be a step in the right direction. But everyone on CDEC is here. Inflame did go in for a bit of a TP Firefly, so that's going to get rid of the creep wave at least. And IG, do they still commit for this mid lane? Because you take a look up top, you've got XZ on that lone druid starting to smack on the T2 tower. He's actually going to TP back.
Yeah, it's good. Like he saw that they all backed up from the mid tower. He realized, all right, you know what, they're going to be coming over for me. And now you see that Ferrari's going to move up that direction. If they try and make a play right now without Ferrari, I really don't think this is a good move by IG. And it looks like they are going to try and do this. I guess that they're fairly spread out. Lone druid, but they can TP to the tier 2 tower. Ame might be moving too far forward, though. Again, just a little bit too far out, and he's going to pay for this one. He should realize that they were over in this area, but is going to end up getting hit with the call down, probably. There's the Icarus dive start, and they kill off the trees. There's the turnaround Omni Slash, but he's going to be able to go for the Supernova. Can they find this kill? They end up being able to not get him down, and he is going to fall. Oh, that was really too bad there. The Roar committed to be able to break him from that Blade Fury, and he wasn't able to find it afterwards. Now Inflame.
Blade Fury. Oh wow, Inflame. That's not where you want it to be as a Batrider. If XS didn't commit the Primal Roar as well, they would have lost Rung in the Supernova.
Yeah.
So it could have been 1 for 1, which you don't really want to be having.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, again, you've got XZ here who's still getting the farm on. It's not the worst thing in the world. The Gyrocopter is a little bit ahead, and he's building towards... He's already gotten the drums. I really hope that this is a Sanjin he's building into, and it does look like that's what it's going to be. We saw a BKB first Gyrocopter before, and I think that we both cringed for a very long time about that build. And this is definitely not the time you want to do it.
No, absolutely. So let's see how Kitty's going to be coping this game. Like, his farm's quite reasonable if you think about it. It's not the best, but he is sitting on top of the net worths chart, so the Gyrocopter at least is staying ahead of the Juggernaut as well as the Lone Druid for now. Because we said during the laning phase, if the Gyrocopter falls behind, it is a very difficult affair for a Gyro to catch up in terms of farm. And Ferrari's found two. He's found Demon as well as XZ in the top lane, and they've got support coming in as well. Gyro as well as the Wyvern. Now, XZ's going to back up. They pop the Cold Snap, but the Savage Roar is going to buy time. And I think at this point, IG may have to just take the Bear as a consolation prize because the main Druid's out of there. Rest in pieces, Panda. You are extinct for a reason. Almost. Endangered.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, it's the problem right now. You've still got, like... you can find these kills from time to time, but that Savage Roar just makes Lone Druid's so hard to gank, and you see right now he hasn't been punished really effectively, and so because of that, he's going to be able to build into a really quick Radiance. And this is, I always feel like being able to build a dual core lineup is just so strong, and it sort of takes the pressure off of Ame. He can go for this more fighty build, going for the Diffusal Blade second after the drums. It is worth noting, though, that we have a 3-hero rotation over towards the Lone Druid. The Bear is going to start hitting his Master, and I think that he might end up going down. They've already committed the call down. He is going to end up falling, and that was just after a resummon, so no Bear for 100 seconds. Man, that was a really effective gank.
That's pretty big too. The Lone Druid himself doesn't have any items, so he can't actually farm in the jungle. He's got to be sitting in lane, or he will hit the creeps a little bit, but he's not going to be able to farm effectively. So that's actually a very big kill for IG to slow down the Lone Druid's farm by a significant amount. T1 will be taken, and it looks like down the bottom lane, they're just going to keep 3 heroes down here. They're going to keep on farming on the Jug as well as the Witch Doctor. And they're going to wait for someone to TP through, but you look at this move here from IG there. They're all coming down together. Although Bobika's a bit separated from his team, so he could be a target, but no. Batrider's already TP'd out, and nobody for CDEC wants to commit. They're going to let them go.
Yeah. It's worth noting that through this, CDEC has still been able to keep a lead, particularly in terms of experience. And I think that this is just because you've been seeing these big heavy ganks which occasionally pay off, but CDEC.Y have been having a pretty effective map awareness, and so they haven't always gotten picked off. I do like this pickup for the Phoenix, though, going for that Hand of Midas. It's going to mean that that egg is going to come online that much more quickly, and we saw before the Blade Fury into hitting the Supernova, it would have been really effective if the Beastmaster hadn't committed Roar, so like, you kind of want to make sure that you're still able to get that up, and you don't have to commit that Roar onto the Jug every time he's just hitting away on the Phoenix. Like, you'd want to be able to save that for an initiation as opposed to a counter-initiation type of play. So I think that getting those levels really, really key, and it looks like CDEC are going to be looking for another gank, but nobody is home in the mid lane. They should just be able to take this tier 1 if they want, though.
They're trying to wait for someone to TP into the mid lane to address the creeps. And Armee's just going to wait in the lane, but everyone's down towards bottom, so at this point, CDEC is going to waste their time in this mid lane, just to not get anything, whereas IG, they're moving through the CDEC jungle, but like both teams can't find anybody. They're all trying to go for these 4-5-man smokes, and they're all on the opposite side of the maps, so no one's dead for now. I think the real breadwinner here, though, is Ferrari, just because he was able to farm that top lane for a little bit without any sort of pressure.
Oh god, Roar right away.
Oh god, in
Flame
flames.
is just gonna end up getting exploded. Yeah, that kind of hurts. And unfortunately, it looks like IG, they've been able to take it. CDEC.Y, they're gonna have to lick their wounds for a second and back on out, try and get a little bit more farm on. I mean, it's worth noting, like, you've still got Lina who's been able to pick up the Yule Scepter. She is pretty freaking farmed for a support Lina. Witch Doctor also has been able to get a decent, well, not a lot, he's actually the least farmed here in the game, but he's still gotten levels. Like, the pieces are there. It feels like IG are going to be able to start to take a little bit more of an advantage, though, with the, Alacrity up on the Gyrocopter now, taking down Roshan. They're in a pretty good spot.
They really are, and CDEC not really in a position to contest the Roche either, so now they need to position themselves defensively to get ready for this tower push coming in from IG. I think the biggest thing here for CDEC, though, is they're dealing with so much AoE, they've got to be so careful with their positioning, and they also cannot afford to lose Ame here, who gets caught with the Winter's Curse. The cast range for that is huge, but Ame's just got immediately for the spin, and Kiwi's actually chasing quite deep here for Inflame. Can they kill him off, though, Tornado? EMP, it looks like they might be able to get the Batrider here. They're even going to commit the Supernova as well to deter CDEC from coming into this bottom lane. And that's a big kill for IG, and that's probably guaranteed the tower for them now.
If I was CDEC.Y right now, I'd even think about maybe actually going in, because they committed a lot for it. They should be able to take this tower since nobody is coming to try and defend against it, but like no Winter's Curse now for a while. Gyrocopter's cooldown was on cooldown as well as Supernova, but it looks like instead they're going to try and go for the farming route and taking a tower of their own. Worth noting, XAS is not with them currently, so if anybody walked up to that high ground trying to farm it out, it probably would have gotten killed by that Necro Book level 1.
So we almost have the Radiance done on the Lone Druid. So essentially Lone Druid's been mostly untouched aside from that one kill where he also didn't have the Bear Summon, but XS is pretty happy on him, on the Lone Druid. Like, he's getting the farm that he wants. IG aren't really there to contest him too much. They're going up top now though, smoked up. It depends if they find him or Victoria, who could be going on the low ground. They're going to be going up soon. There's also the Lena there, and they also have Inflame coming, but I think Inflame's too far away. It depends which route they want to take. They're going to go up the hill, and 430, he's found Demon, as well as the Lone Druid. They're going to go straight onto XD. They found him completely. There's no mana left, no Savage Roar. That's going to be an easy kill. They finish up the Witch Doctor as well. LSA from the Lena, but Demon's going to drop too. Where is Inflame? He just TP'd mid. He saw all the heroes and his team dying, and he was thinking, yep, that's pretty much over.
Though. That was pretty nice.
Oh,
dodges the Sunstrike too. Really good play there, right, by the Lena. But yeah, this is, I don't even know, like, you keep on seeing nobody showing on the map, and then you decide to split up and farm their jungle. Just very odd decision making coming in from CDEC.Y. And again, Ame's gonna have to TP away from this one for the moment, does end up being able to get out of there, and I don't completely understand what their thought process is. I guess they feel like they can't fight into Aegis at this point, and trying to fight into the Invoker Quaswex is also a pain, but you can't just allow yourselves to get caught out by those ganks, and Inflame looks to maybe try and take out Ferrari 430 here. He's looking, he's going to not quite spot him out though, so no such luck in finding him.
We have another big item for IG. It's the Blink Dagger on the Winter Wyvern. So all of a sudden, now you don't just have a Beastmaster with the BKB Piercing Disable. You've now got a Blinking Wyvern that can just throw a curse to set up for the rest of the team. So that's two major spells to lock down anyone on CDEC. Even pierces the spin for Jug, so essentially the spin isn't going to be a saving grace for Ame too much longer, as IG, they're just getting so big. Now, at this point, IG has a great head start. They need to make sure that they don't fall back to the 3-2-2 syndrome, which we saw in Game 1 of the previous series. We saw how much of a head start they had, but they do sometimes get ahead of themselves as a team. They need to remain composed. They still have to show respect to CDEC. It is still high ground, and they are going up against a Batrider. They've got to be very careful going up high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about this that's so interesting to me is, like, when we were looking at this, I totally thought that it was going to be, oh, well, hold on a second, because Ame is thinking about jumping here onto Bobaka. Does end up being able to blink away, though, so they're not going to be able to find this. Man, they are just all over it. They know exactly what they're trying to do each and every time. But yeah, I kind of feel like there's this moment where maybe CDEC.Y are going to be able to come further ahead, but Lone Druid is just not going to be able to farm enough. His hero, he's got this Radiance, which is going to be able to push out creep waves now, but in terms of the big team fights, they're really very single target focused in finding pickoffs, which just it's a little bit too much. My goodness, I'm going to try a second reconnect because I literally can't see anything on this. I'll be right back. Here we go.
Alright, fingers crossed nothing happens, but we've just got IG taking the top T2. With the Lone Druid though, there are moments, and I think this game it may count as well, that the Radiance 20 minutes in is actually quite viable. Like, even though you've got no other items outside of the Radiance, the Bear's still reasonably tanky, he can still run in the middle of the fights. And most of IG's heroes, they're not necessarily that tanky, so the Bear can do quite a bit of work when it comes to a high ground defense, or if the Bear decides to commit into a fight too. And that's where it really comes into IG playing safely. Like, that's what I said. They need to respect CDEC because it's still high ground. There's still spells they need to worry about. Like, there's LSA, you've got Death Ward, you've got Savage Roars, Omni Slash. Like, there's so much on CDEC when it comes to high ground defense. It's just overwhelming. Demons. Demons.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about this also. Is like, and I completely agree with you. They need to respect the high ground defense, but they aren't even having to go into that. Like, they're just finding pickoffs because you're so far ahead or you're so far out on CDEC.Y, and it's really hard to do that against the Beastmaster when they've got such commanding map control. And they are going to be able to find the Bear again, not quite catching him though, as he did manage to poof out of there. But yeah, it's just, they're not even needing to necessarily test it, and the hope, I guess, is to get Lone Druid big enough that he's going to be able to hold it alone. But I don't even know. This is beginning to feel like it's an insurmountable comeback that they're trying to make. It's already 5,000 net worth lead into their favor. Experience is about even, but you're starting to hit on all cylinders, and you're gonna very shortly be able to put Exort orbs into Ferrari 430, which means the Gyrocopter is gonna hit more hard, and I don't know. It's gonna become a problem.
Oh, come on, nothing's impossible. We saw a really big turnaround in Game 1, so I would honestly say that there is going to be the factor on whether or not IG can keep themselves together. It's happened before, it can happen again. And obviously, if you're CDEC, you're banking on the fact that IG may at some point crumble and they capitalize on that. But it just depends on when IG wants to make the plays happen. And it just seems that they're still going to keep on farming on 430. They're still going to keep farming on the gyro. They want to finish up their next set of items. QD's essentially finished up his major item, or the next one, which was his BKB, the fresh 10-second BKB to work with. 430 is picking up the point booster, so he's still waiting up for his Aghanim Scepter, which is going to be done in about 700 more gold. And then for the Beastmaster, he's got Necronomicon 1. You'd probably be wanting to go a high ground only when you got 3. So he's got a little bit more to go, and then he'll finish up with the Necrobook 3. But he's going to get lassoed in by Inflame. Can they get revenge?
They find a kill.
They wanted that kill really badly, you can tell. They really needed that kill.
That was a lot of hate thrown his way, but well worth it, I would say, and they end up being able to pick up the Beastmaster. He's pretty freaking farmed here. Well, actually, he's the third lowest on their team, but it's still 1,000 gold swing off the back of it, and you're getting bigger and bigger items up. Like, you've got the Mantis style that I think is about to be on the way for Juggernaut. He should have that ultimate orb there with him now. So Diffusal Blade Manta, draining that all away from the side of IG. It's just going to be finding that moment to be able to use it, which is really what they're looking for. They jump forward again onto the Winter Wyvern, but they also have QD here, and they haven't gone for him as of yet. They're going to hold back for the moment, and it does look like they're going to commit the egg, and now this is going to be the setup. The bear is going to start to drop. They're going to get a really nice duration stun off the back of that. Ame controlled for the moment. Bulbacut dropping low. They are going to continue the chase, though, and QD is there. They're starting to get the right clicks down. Is Ame going to be able to do it? Ame Slash has been committed, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find anybody killed, and Ame's now going to get chased on down. BKB has already been popped, and it looks like they're going to call it off for the moment. So they are thinking about chasing this now. He's going to get lifted. Roar committed, though. Ame dropping. They're going to be able to kill him. Nicely done. That was huge.
And they're going to get excess as well. Oh, geez. IG. Was that the syndrome kicking in? IG. They can't afford to lose major fights like that. And it just felt like IG shouldn't have really been in a bit of a weird position like that. Like, you have to know that CDEC is thirsty for blood. They are looking for kills actively, and they are willing to throw bodies for it. Yeah. And for them to lose absolutely nothing in that too, to grab major kills on top of that, all of a sudden you have a bear wailing on your T2, and does CDEC put the foot down and put some more pressure down? It looks like they're going to leave the T3 at least. Are they taking Roche? They can consider it, as all the major spells of IG are gone.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to want to buy back with 10 seconds left on the Invoker. Like, they can probably... they decide not to. They realize that they probably won't be able to take it quickly enough, although... That being said, IG are probably going to go and look for this themselves, and if there's a moment where they're able to catch them as they're searching... No, they're not going to, yeah. They're just going to be looking for this Juggernaut kill now. I don't think that they're going to be able to find it, though. He sends his illusions out and backs out and should be good.
Depends if Bulbacut can find him. He's got 10 seconds left on the curse, so they do have that for setup, assuming that they find a little bit of vision, but instead they're just going to get rid of the Observe Ward, and CDEC, they know. They saw all of IG's heroes there, and they're all going to back up onto their side of the map to sort of reset, reload, wait for the spells to come online, and then go for another engage. What's IG planning to do now? They've got the Hawks just going to go for a bit of a scout around, and it looks like they are trying to attempt Roche here. They're sitting in the Roche pit, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah, vision-wise, they do spot out Ame up here on the high ground as well, and they're going to be able to take out this Observer Ward, which is a problem. So,
GD.
He's getting fresh. Gotta be careful here, man. There's a little bit of a roadblock going up the hill, and it looks like they're gonna end up getting scouted out. Inflame is there up front and center. Ferrari 430 spots him out as well. They're gonna be able to get the cold snap and force stop him forward. Oh god, this is gonna be a problem. They're gonna toss out a couple more of those spirits, and with that one kill, everybody from CDEC is gonna back out, I'm assuming.
He also dropped the gem. So that's going to be a gem going into the pockets of IG. That's a Roche attempt as well. And if CDEC try to go into Roche, they are going into it blind. But it looks like they will be committing. They're going to put the Spirit Bear first, get rid of the boards to prevent vision on the side of IG. And Ame, is he going to commit? He spins, he throws illusions in, he doesn't want to go in. They are so scared. And IG, they're the ones to back out. Now, the Phoenix even going for a bit of a Sun Ray up onto the high ground just to make sure he doesn't get caught out. Bulbacut now is going to be... He can blink out, assuming he doesn't get hit with the the Radiance Bomb. He's going to stick around. He can pop the Winter's Curse if he wants to. He's going to pop it straight onto XZ. Supernova setup too. Is this going to be the huge initiation IG is looking for? It looks like they're going to get the Supernova down. 3 heroes stunned up. XZ is so low. They kill off the bear. Arme is trying to man fight this gyrocopter. The Laguna Blade from Demons. They get the gyro. And all of a sudden wrong. He's doing so much damage. Demon even dropping low. Ferrari dropping quite low himself. And Lena not going to get caught with the Sunstrike. He's going to actually go to the side, but XZ, he almost got the roar off. He lost vision at the last moment. Tornado going to completely whiff. Demon's still walking around the sidelines. He needs to buy a TP scroll and he needs to go home. And it looks like he's going to get home safely.
He was looking for that kill on the Phoenix, but wasn't able to get there in time. And yeah, that was... I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it ended up being 3 for 2. It looks like they're going to be able to take Roshan, though. And this is probably going to be the big win here as they get the alacrity up on all of them. And Gem is actually up on the high ground by the Roche pit right now. And I don't know if anybody realized that it's up there. It could stay there for the rest of the game, potentially, but... Man, oh man. Again, they fight back. It's still a little bit even. Nobody's taken a real commanding lead, and I think that this is pretty important. Like, they're going to be able to... It's going to come down to execution, and that Winter's Curse into Supernova is a pretty great combo. I think the only thing that you can really do against that is try and find somebody else, or get the BKBs up on the other targets so they can focus the egg, but fighting around Roche Pit, it's not possible against IG.
But the problem, though, is BKB is not effective with the Winter's Curse. So even then, BKB is not. On the other heroes, they would have to be outside of the Winter's Curse range.
Right.
And then once it expires, then they can only hit the Supernova. So even then, like, this Winter-Nova combination from the Phoenix as well as the Wyvern is very difficult for CDEC to deal with. Unless they had a long-range hero such as the Lena, who's got... If she has the max fiery souls, I'm pretty sure Demons would be able to take out the Nova himself. It's just, he never wants to be that close to the Supernova because obviously IG will start swarming any heroes that start hitting the Supernova egg. So like the combination from IG, it's spot on. They're using the combination perfectly. And Victoria's the next one to drop. I don't know if they needed to commit the Supernova to this. I suppose it's going to prevent CDEC from wanting to engage. It will send them back, but Nova's on cooldown and the Phoenix is doing a bit of a scouting dive.
Yeah.
And they see Demons.
You know, it makes me reappreciate again how good... Well, we're going to have another combo here as it looks like Inflame is going to end up going down. Force Staff keeping him alive for the moment. The Cold Snap is still there, though, and they're going to be able to find the kill. Call down committed also, and they're going to start to go up high ground and take this one out. Roar committed onto Lena as Demons gets jumped on, and you do have Ame in the midst of all of this, but he's not doing nearly enough damage, and it does look like QD's popped his BKB, going to turn back around, trying to face off against the Bear. There's still a little bit of slideshow Dota going on, but it looks like everybody from IG is able to escape as Lena bought back. My goodness. What I was going to say, though, is that last... The team fight around Roche with the Winter Wyvern, I really like how they went on the Bear, the Lone Druid himself first, because this last one you saw, they ended up committing the Winter's Curse onto a target that exploded right at the start, and that meant that they weren't able to get the stun from the Supernova. Previously on the Bear, if you hit it, then you're going to be able to make sure that he survives, but then takes the stun afterwards and you hit onto several. So really, really good stuff there. And I've been really impressed by Bobacan, this Winter Wyvern. It feels like he's playing a lot better than he did in the previous series.
Absolutely. And I think IG in general, they've sort of really stuck together as a team. They have been playing much more solid. They've been making much less mistakes compared to the previous series. And I think they've definitely learnt their lesson from game one. Like, they definitely want to win this. They are in the lower brackets. If they lose this series, they're technically out of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
So this is their last chance. Can IG prevail in game one?
Well, they're certainly... oh god, they catch on to him, and Sunstrike's going to be committed. He is going to end up going down. They find a quick and easy kill, and that Lena, he keeps on getting caught out. It's been a really rough game for him so far. XZ's going to TP away. They saw everybody rotating up top, and looks like everybody should be able to escape.
Yeah, the right decision here for CDEC. The moment you see heroes coming up, just TP home, make sure everyone else is safe. And I think the good thing here for CDEC is that it's just the Lena. It could have been worse if it was Ame, if it was Lone Druid. I think in particular, if they ever lose Inflame, that is essentially the go call for IG to make those plays happen, because without the Batrider, CDEC can't make the plays that their draft is looking for. They're supposed to be turning these engagements into 4 versus 5 fights after blowing a hero up after the lasso with Inflame. But Inflame's been caught out so many times. And if IG catch him out again, then I think that's going to be high ground attempt for IG without a doubt.
QD accidentally just uses BKB, it looks like. He was trying to do Flutter on Butterfly, and
Oh
he
no.
accidentally hit that one. So that's going to be down for 45 seconds, but I don't
Whoops.
believe that CDEC.Y saw that. So they actually are going to go for a smoke play right now. This is a little bit bold. I guess that they might not find anybody for 30 seconds, so it could end up being okay. But again, it's the vision advantage. Like, look at this vision comparison. This is CDEC.Y and IG right now are just, they have complete and total control. As soon as they sort of have eyes on this, though, it does look like CDEC are going to move back into their base and do not want to get caught out here. But Bobica has the Winter's Curse available. He could go for that Blink Curse, and, you know, we've seen it just be so effective with the Supernova, and I think that's the play for them if they're going to be able to make it happen.
Let's see the vision Inflame. He tries to go for a lasso. He's gone the wrong direction. Oh no, Inflame, this is not the play. The Batrider is going to drop, and all of a sudden, IG don't have to worry about a lasso.
Oh yeah, and they're going to go high ground here.
Inflame. Oh no. He's got no buyback too for 50 seconds. That's a big opening, and they're actually going to try and do a little bit of damage to the bear at least. They threw a cold snap. But now, IG gonna start taking high ground. CDEC, what is the play here?
I mean, they had the Savage Roach they already used one time, probably using it again, just trying to buy him as much time as they can. They jump on a QD, the lasso, oh god, it's not going to end up being enough. He gets survived, and now they have the Winter's Curse Supernova combo that's going to come through again. They do manage to burn on down the Supernova, though, so a little bit of a turnaround as Phoenix has died, and they commit the Ice Wall to make sure they get their escape. That was a little bit sketchy right there. They were able to make it work.
That went wrong simply because Bobica didn't manage to get the Winter's Curse down in time. He actually got stunned just as the Supernova got caught. And then by the time he popped the Winter's Curse, it was too late. Demons was already in a good position to solo down the Supernova by himself. And that's pretty much when all that's said and done. That's all just because Bobica got stunned up and couldn't pop that Winter's Curse in time.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of fights that you'd be looking for if you're CDEC. And this is the kind of play that IG needs to be respecting too. They tried to capitalize on the Batrider, which is the right play, but they also need to make sure that they are still in the right position to counterplay when appropriate. You still cannot give away too much to CDEC. Their Jug is a hero that can scale if you give him that farm, and now all of a sudden you have IG hiding in their base because they have no idea where CDEC is. They will spot them out, I believe, soon as the smokes start to expire. Nope, the water's dead. They won't even spot them out. Oh, actually the bird may.
But like you can see, IG just know they know what's going on, and like even if they don't necessarily spot them individually, they realize that that's the play to make at this point, and they're just gonna play it safe and they back on out. And again, it feels like in this game, IG have been one step ahead of them over and over, and it's been able to build them into a 12k net worth lead with right around 10,000 experience. They're in a great position. Lone Druid is going to be able to start building into, and he, I think, has completed the AC, or at least he's close to it. He only needs about 400 more gold to finish that one off, so it's a big item that's up for sure. He's going to be able to take towers really quickly, but to do that, you need to be able to be in a position where you can actually have a creep wave out and have your Lone Druid himself there right-clicking down the towers, and that just doesn't feel like it's going to be the case, particularly when you've got the Octarine Core on Invoker and all these other huge items. Like, IG are in such a commanding position. It's crazy.
CDC just needs to make sure that Inflame doesn't go the wrong direction again. They need to make sure he actually gets that lasso onto the target that they're looking for. But CDC, though, they still have to be careful. Even though they may get a lasso on somebody, Bobic is still going to be there with the Winter's Curse. Like, he's essentially waiting for high ground vision, and the moment he sees 1 or 2 heroes clumped up together, he will go for that Winter's Curse. He won't wait for 3, 4, 5-man curses. He'll even simply just grab 2 so they can delete 2 heroes off the face of the earth, and then at least it's safer to go high ground. So even then, like, it's kind of sketchy because you can't 100% rely on the Batrider anymore because of how big IG is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing that we saw in that last engagement too was, the Batrider, I believe that he did get force staffed by the Invoker to push him further out of position. So, or not the Invoker, because he was the one that got lassoed, wasn't he? Does anybody else have a force staff on their squad? I guess that it was just by the virtue of him being a little bit out of position. But regardless, like, you've got all of these survivability items up on IG as well. So, Gyrocopter has had the luxury of being able to go for this, Sanjin Yasha into BKB with the butterfly there as well. So he's so survivable, and then they've just been relying upon that alacrity to boost his damage output, and it's been incredibly effective. Roshi's about to respawn now, so if they want to, they can head back over towards the pit, and I don't think there's any way that CDEC.Y can really go and contest. They don't have that type of lineup that's going to be able to do that. The best thing they could do is like run the bear into it, but I don't think that really is going to end up doing anything anyways.
I think since the last fight, if you're CDEC.Y, don't go into the Roche pit. But are they really considering this? They know what happened last time. Like it's just too dangerous. There's a cursed supernova. You know there's the Winter's curse, and Winter's Nova. I think we should just may as well call it that, Winter's Nova.
I like it.
Or the Super Curse. I don't know.
Super Curse. That's even better. That's great. Well, it looks like they're gonna let him go for the moment, and Ame running away again. He's got himself an MKB, so like this dude he's super farmed. He's only 2k behind the Gyrocopter, and I do believe that Juggernaut late game does do better against the Gyro. So the longer this goes on, like IG is going to struggle in terms of taking the high ground. The only thing is I'm not seeing CDEC.Y really have a great potential to push their own objectives either. So it's very much up in the air. It's going to come down to execution in these fights, and I feel like IG have been executing more effectively.
I think the sad thing though is that they can't even leave their base because they know that IG will blow spells to kill off single heroes. Like heck, they'll commit spells to kill off the lone druid bear. So it's not like CDEC really have a choice in this. And I think the best plays that they can honestly make is just wait in base and hope to God that they can have the exact same fight that they had just now, which was, yes, they may lose the Bat Rider before the fight even starts, but if you have a successful high ground defense, then at least it's the safer option, and the chances of losing more heroes than not is going to outweigh, I suppose, the disadvantages. Like, it's still high ground. You still have to respect that. Army's actually found an XZ, and the Cold Embrace is going to keep him alive, and all of a sudden the Phoenix is there, the Supernova is going to be thrown out now. It's not going to connect onto too many. Inflame pretty much knows he's dead. It's going to be thrown out with the Tornado as well, and the Bear will be hit with the Supernova at least. And actually, Inflame doesn't die. He managed to force-staff Blink out, trying to TP. Well, the Dragon finally kills him off, the Wyvern, sorry. And that's 3 heroes gone for CDEC, and now it's just 2 left. Only one of them is buyback. This is probably a set of Raxes.
Yeah, at the very least, and probably 2, honestly, because they've already got the 1. Lena buys back, but honestly, like, you looking at this, they still got Aegis, they got Satanic up on Gyrocopter. There's nothing that's going to stop them from pushing this, really, and, if they wanted, they can throw the, Alacrity up on the Invoker, or on the Gyrocopter, but they really don't need to. They can just keep the EMP Tornado combo available, and as soon as somebody moves in, they'll be able to go for it. And you can see these barracks are going to fall. The CDEC.Y, they're in trouble. There's not a lot that they can do.
They can't do anything. They're probably going to lose their whole base. It's still 30 seconds left till Ame comes up. Although the push is not that strong for IG.
Well,
it looks like Ferrari tried to... Oh, Victoria's almost dying.
Yeah.
And the Sunstrike won't even land. So at least the Witch Doctor gets out with his life, but 2 sets of Rax is gone, and they are going to commit for the 3rd set. Now, Inflame does respawn in 2 seconds. He has the lasso, but is that going to change anything? I honestly don't think so.
Cold Snap on the Bear. The barracks are starting to fall. They jump forward. They catch now onto XD. He's taking a lot of damage, but is it going to really be enough? They get the Roar down onto Demons as well as the EMP. It's going to end up getting popped. BKB is already down now. He popped a Satanic, and everybody's going to have to back out. They're dropping low. Witch Doctor goes down. Ame's trying to do everything that he can onto XS, but he's still going to end up getting dropped, and GG ends up getting called. My goodness, I can't believe it. Look, the lag's gone again miraculously. Holy hell, IG looking a hell of a lot better than the previous series.
Much, much better. I think they've sort of put themselves together. Even though they lost those 2 games, they realize the importance of winning this game, and you can't afford to let your emotions take control of you. So at least IG have managed to break through and win this first game versus CDEC. They have some of the burden lifted off their shoulders, but they still need to win 1 more game to make it through. CDEC, unfortunately for them, being down a game, that's more pressure on their shoulders to perform into game 2. So if IG can continue in a similar fashion to game 1 in the second game, then I think there's going to be no hope for CDEC Youth. For CDEC, they're going to have to hope that some of their, you could say, their more prioritized heroes get through the pool and they can actually grab them. As I think in particular, if Inflame had a more Invoker-esque sort of hero that scaled as well as provided a lot of utility, then I think the game would have been completely different. Because we've seen Inflame on the Invoker, and he is a magician.
Absolutely, and we'll see if he's going to be able to do it again and be able to bring it on back for his team. We're going to go to a quick little break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you guys so much again for watching. It was an absolute pleasure casting for you guys. CDEC.Y versus IG Gaming, or I just Invictus Gaming, so IG. Great stuff. We'll be back in a second. Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys in a second.